turn it over to Martin Anderson Klutz, a principal solutions engineer at Acquia and a maintainer of a number of Drupal modules and recipes of his own to talk about our module of the week. Martin, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks, John. Are you looking to create a website for a local Drupal association? There's a project on Drupal.org to help you get started. It's called Local Association, in brackets, EU Sites Project, and it was created in October of 2023 by Jeremy Chinquist of Drewnomics and Drupal Austria. It only has a dev version available. It seems actively maintained. It does have, or it's opted into security coverage, but of course, without a stable release, doesn't actually have any in practice. And there is a documentation guide available to help with setup. The project does have 49 open issues, four of which are bugs, but because it's not a module, there are no usage stats available. Now, this is an unusual project because it's designed to help you quickly create a Drupal site, but it doesn't follow any of the usual patterns I've seen, a distribution composer project template or a Drupal site template. Instead, the recommended path is to clone the repo to your local and run a setup script. That creates your DDEV project, runs a composer install, and then a Drush site install, and even runs a Drush ULI command so that you can log into your built site with just a single click once it's done. Along the way, it will install a couple of custom modules. One populates a multitude of default content, so you have a pre populated site, including navigation as your starting point. It will look a lot like a clone of the 2022 Drupal Netherlands site, though there have been ongoing tweaks to the overall setup, with the most recent in June of 2025. The other custom module provides some additional layouts for use with Layout Builder, and the project also includes a theme meant to be customized. As you may have guessed by now, this project started when the Dutch Drupal Association rebuilt their website in 2022 and wanted to share their work with other local associations. Drupal France was the first to adopt it, and there was a BOF at DrupalCon Lille in 2023 to discuss sharing it more widely. Following that, an international work group began collaborating to establish this project, and it was adopted by Drupal associations in Belgium, Germany, Norway, Finland, and London, England. Since today's topic is about positioning Drupal on the international stage, I thought it would be interesting to talk about how local Drupal associations have also formed their own federation to reduce effort. So let's talk about local association.
I'm interested in that existing config flag that they passed to Drush SI. I've never seen that, and that I kinda wanna do a show on this now and find out how they're building it and maintaining it because it seems like kind of a nice middle ground of, like, not quite a recipe, but not quite a database dump starting point. So, seems useful.
Yeah, I think they probably the previous time I had seen it, Bernardo Martinez had been doing some presentations about having a theme that could import configuration, and he was using a similar flag as part of his process. So, but yeah, I agree. It's not something that you see every day by any means.
Interesting. Yeah, I am also interested in that. I think anytime you have kind of these sorts of like starter points and things like that, like I don't know, the easier you can make it for the user. Martin, you might have said this and I might have missed it. Any indication about how many sites are kind of like built on this or like are using this
So on the
as a
project page, they list out, I think it's 7 different ones. It's possible there are other sites that have used that as a starting point, but certainly in terms of actual Drupal associations, at this point, I would say, yeah, our best indication is 7.
Hmm, interesting.
Oh, yeah,
How do
they have separate sub-sites for each one too. Like, they're using the ecosystem to link them. So, like, there's a local association, AT, CH, etcetera. I think
I
you
see.
can see how people are using the sub site. Yeah, so it looks like the AT one is for France, Belgium, German, Switzerland, Austria. So, yeah, that's interesting.
so Mark I have a little bit of a question here. So I'm interested how this compares to kind of what you're doing with like your work with like event platform and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, great question. So, really different focus. So, as an example, on the project page for local association, they talk about the features that you get out of the box, being able to manage news, events, partners, cases, component pages, and basic pages. So component pages, I'm guessing, is sort of like layout builder landing pages,
Yeah.
whereas event platform is really more focused around sort of a campsite where you're collecting session submissions. It's got a built-in rating mechanism. There's an overlap certainly around like news, and there's probably a couple of other things if you were to dig into it. Partners may be equivalent to sponsors in event platform, but I would say the focus of the two is very different. Probably a local association underneath it would have a variety
Yeah.
of sort of camps that are actually running the individual events.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so this is kinda like the bigger organization as opposed to specific event event silos. Got it. That makes sense.
Exactly. But
And
also, as yeah, I think Nick was pointing out, from an architecture standpoint, very different in terms of how it's set up to sort of create that site as a starting point.
yeah, it always like, when I hear things like this, it always reaffirms my philosophy that, there's never anything really, like, new in Drupal. Somebody's always done it, and, we say there's a module for that, and, I love it because, I'm like, "Okay, I have this idea," but I'm like, "Somebody has already had this idea. I know it for a fact. Let's go find it." And then you find stuff like this, and you're like, "Oh, there it is. Okay, it makes my life way easier." Awesome. Well, Martin, as always, thank you for finding a perfectly on topic module of the week. If folks wanted to suggest a module or chat with you, how could they go about doing that?
We are always happy to discuss potential or past modules of the week in the Talking Drupal channel of Drupal Slack, or folks can reach out to me directly as Manclue on all of the Drupal and social platforms.
All right. Well, thanks, Martin. Talk to you next week.
Sure. Thanks,
See you then.